Welcome to Caravan, 1300 AD Western Africa. The desire for goods such as ivory in Europe drives the development of many trade routes, with caravans of camels delivering goods across the desert landscape. In Caravan, players position their camels to deliver goods where they're wanted. But beware, your rivals are interested in the same goods and are not above casting a greedy eye on your caravans. All right, so before we get started, what are we looking at here? So we have the main map or board, if you will, here. There are 8 cities. It's a pick up and deliver. So we have the 8 cities in which the deliveries are wanted. So the cube color will match a certain city. So for instance, with Timbuktu, brown goods are wanted in Timbuktu, whereas in Walata, white goods are wanted, so on and so forth. There are also 8 numbered spaces, as you can see by the numbers, and some of those are covered up by demand markers. Then in all of those numbered locations, there are 8 randomly seated goods, as you can see, and the 4 corner spaces have the 4 demand markers as well. Then, off-board, we have the random bag of mystery. This is where all the extra goods are that we're going to be drawing to reseed the board as the game progresses. Everybody has 5 camels, as you can see, and everybody has a player board with 1 steal marker, or thief marker, if you will. Then basically it's a place for all of your goods to go when they are delivered, depending on where they are. If they are in the outer cities, they will go on to the 6-point goods. If they are the inner cities, they will go to the 3-point goods. And if they are demand markers, they will go on to where it says, wait for it, demand markers. Then there are a little player aid here with all the actions that are available. That's it. That's all the components in this game. So how do you play Caravan? Well, I think before we get into that, I should talk about what the goal of the game is, which is victory points. You're going to get victory points by delivering these goods via caravans of your own camels to those cities that want those goods. So this red good wants to go to Caravan, or at least the people in Caravan, I imagine, want the red good to be delivered there, which looks like it would be meat. When you deliver these goods, they're going to come over here onto your player mat, and you're going to, at the end of the game, count up how many points you have, whether they're 6-point goods, 3-point goods, or 1-point demand markers. The game will actually end when this bag is empty of all of its goods, and I don't know if you guys can see, but there are a fair number of goods in there. And Joe, do you remember exactly how many?
48.
Not to put you on. There are 48 goods. When 48 goods are out of the bag, and the first delivery is made after the bag is emptied, the game ends immediately at that point.
Immediately.
Okay? So now that you understand, well, how you're getting points and what the goal of the game is, how do you actually play the game? Well, here we go. We'll go through the various actions that you can take on your turn, and we'll go from there. So the first available action is place or move 1 empty camel on a space with no other camels present. Well, there, etc. You can place in a city. You can place anywhere where there are no camels. That costs 1 action point. The beginning of the game, we will randomly determine who is the first player. That player will get 1 action. Then we'll go clockwise, 2 actions, 3 actions, 4 actions, and then everybody will take 4 actions on their turn for the remainder of the game. That will cost 1 action. Then another action on your turn, let's say Jess ended up going there, place or move 1 empty camel on a space with 1 or more camels present. So, in other words, if I go where Jess is, that cost me 2 actions. So that will have been 1, 2, 3 of my 4 available actions on my turn. Easy enough, right? The next action is pick up a good. What does that look like? If these were standing up, the goods would actually fit right there in its back, like there. But to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see, we'll just slot it in, and it looks just like that. So you put a good on the back of a camel, and if there are any demand markers, 1 or more, those will go onto where it says demand markers. And that's going to be banked points for you. Okay, easy enough. A camel can hold a maximum of 1 good. Also, once a camel has a good on its back, or has it between its legs. It can no longer move. Once a camel is in control of a good, it cannot move again. So this camel will not be able to move to any location out here on the board once he's laden down or encumbered with a good, if you will. All right? So that is picking up a good. Any questions on that? So either Jess or I on our turn could spend one action to pick up that good. Easy enough. So let's say, for argument's sake, I actually, for whatever reason, chose to pick up this white good on my turn. Then it becomes Jess's turn. She has 4 actions on a subsequent turn after the first. And one of the actions is steal a good, but you must have a theft marker. Well, Jess has a theft marker, and she happens to have a camel where there is a good that is stealable. If a camel is in possession, if it is currently encumbered by a good, it can be stolen. What does that mean? That means Jess would hand me over, or say, I just take it, her theft marker. She then thieves, she steals the good, and the good will fit oh so perfectly between the camel's legs. When the good is stolen, it stays there until it is moved. We have not talked about moving goods. It is also impervious from theft at that point. It is hidden very well from between its legs, or, as it were, maybe you just don't want to go between a camel's legs in general because it might not take to that well. So it's a safe space, in other words. So the good there cannot be stolen. Even though I have theft markers, on a subsequent turn, I cannot steal that until it moves. Which then brings us to one action, which is move a good and optionally deliver it. Well, this white good wants to go to Walada. So on Jess's turn, she stole, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. She could then, on her turn, go 4. Now, goods can be moved orthogonally adjacent via a caravan of like colored camels. In other words, they have to be delivered and moved on her own caravan. So in Jess's case here, obviously that was 4 actions. She's done. But on another turn, it comes around for her first action, or any of her 4 actions, she could say, hey, I'm going to move a good. So moving this good will move orthogonally to any place that is orthogonal that she has a caravan of camels. She could stop it here, but since she has a camel there, it makes sense to go ahead and deliver it. It has now made it to Walada, where they want that good, which is salt. She then claims that good over onto her player board. Boom, that is delivery. Also, I should point out, and I think I did mention, that each camel can carry a total of 1 good, whether it's hidden between its legs, stolen, or up on its back from there. If a camel, let's say this camel, was already encumbered, or laden down, if you will, with a good, and just wanted to deliver that good or move that good, moving can move as far as she wants, even over an encumbered camel, because it's not holding it, as Jess pointed out. In theory, they're just passing it along. They're just kind of flinging it with their mouth, so they're no big deal. So it goes there, and that's still allowed, no problem, even though it has a good already on it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. And the last action is you can pass any number of actions if you so desire to do so. So that's it. And I think that one was there, and that one was there.
Yep.
Now, the only thing left that we need to talk about is how those cubes come back out on the board, because again, there are 48 of them. There are 8, so there are 40 left in here. When there are 4 cubes left on the board in their original locations, meaning they have these handy dandy little markers there. When there are only 4 left, the game pauses immediately. What will happen is we will then place 4 demand markers. Let's say these 4 were the 4 that were gone. We would then place 4 demand markers where there are goods remaining out there, and then we would place 4 new cubes drawn randomly from the bag and place that on the board. And then game will continue wherever we immediately paused. And I say immediately because there may be more than 4 out here on the board because they're on camels' backs or they're hidden between their legs. And that, folks, We continue doing that until the bag is empty and the first delivery is made. After that, then read 'em and weep. You count up your points. Whoever has the most points wins. And that, folks, is how you play Caravan. Joe, did I miss anything?
Just one thing.
Okay, go for it.
So, because of the demand markers, there can be a lot of temptation to load camels that you have no intention of delivering.
Correct, because at the end of the game, you will count negative if you have encumbered camels after the first one. So if you have 0 or 1 encumbered camel at the end of the game, you lose 0 points. However, if you have 2 encumbered camels, you will lose 1 point. If you have 3 encumbered camels, you will lose 3 points. If you have 4 encumbered camels, you will lose 6 points. I should also point out, you have 5 camels. At no point can you ever have 5 camels with goods on them, because if you do, you can't do anything. So you must always have a minimum of 1 empty camel.
I feel like it's OSHA regulations, like they have to rest 1 camel at all times.
You know what? Go with it. I like it. That's as good a reason as any, and I like it.